The world doesn't wait for the perfect moment. It bows to those who rise in spite of imperfection. And if you want to change your life, you must first change the way you walk through it. You must learn to act as if nothing stops you, not because you're immune to pain, not because life is easy, but because you have decided that nothing outside you is stronger than what is within you. You don't need to be fearless. You just need to move like fear doesn't decide, because most people don't fail from a lack of talent. They fail because they stop, they freeze, they hesitate, they let doubt drive the car. But you are here to reclaim the wheel, because the truth is, every obstacle you've ever faced was never trying to destroy you. It was trying to reveal you, to awaken the version of you that's not controlled by fear, rejection, criticism, or comfort, to burn off the hesitation that's kept you small, to forge you into something unbreakable. And if you listen closely, you'll hear it, that voice inside that still believes, that refuses to settle, that whispers, "There's more in you. You were born to rise." That voice is truth. And everything else, the fear, the excuses, the lies dressed up as logic, that's the noise you must silence. Because if you want the world to treat you like a force, you must walk as one. You must carry yourself like nothing can stop you, even when everything is trying to. It's not arrogance, it's alignment. Alignment with your higher self. Alignment with your mission. Alignment with the version of you who's already made it, who doesn't ask for permission, who doesn't seek validation, who doesn't wait to feel ready. They move, they decide, they command, because they know success isn't given, it's claimed. You want to attract results like a magnet? Act like you expect them. Act like you deserve them. Act like you've already earned them. And the world is just catching up. That's not pretending. That's projecting. That's power. That's quantum alignment. You see, everything in this universe responds to your dominant vibration. And when your actions, energy, and identity all say, "Nothing stops me," you shift reality. You don't just hope for miracles, you become the miracle. You don't beg for change, you embody it. Look at the greats. Henry Ford was laughed out of rooms for his idea of a motor car for the masses. He didn't argue, he built it. Walt Disney was told he had no imagination. He didn't shrink, he dreamed bigger. Thomas Edison was told he had failed 1,000 times. He didn't quit. He said, "I found 1,000 ways that don't work." They weren't lucky. They were relentless. They acted as if nothing could stop them, and the world eventually believed it. You think they didn't have doubts? You think they didn't face ridicule, rejection, resistance? Of course they did, but they decided, my vision is louder than the noise. My future is stronger than my fear, and my will is greater than the world's doubt. That's the fire you must burn with. That's the identity you must adopt, because life doesn't bend for the hesitant. It yields to the certain. And certainty isn't about being right. It's about being committed. You commit first, you declare first, you move first, then the results follow. So what are you waiting for? Another sign? Another guarantee? Another opinion? You don't need it. All you need is the decision to walk like you cannot be stopped. Because here's the truth. Nothing in your way is stronger than the energy you bring to it. Most people fold because they react, but the unstoppable create. They create momentum. They create belief. They create a new standard of who they are and never fall beneath it again. You are not here to tiptoe through life avoiding failure. You are here to charge forward so powerfully, so boldly, that failure becomes irrelevant. Because when you refuse to stop, when you refuse to retreat, when you refuse to doubt your divine calling, you become unshakable. You become magnetic, focused, free, and that freedom, that's the real reward. Not the money, not the status, not the recognition. It's the knowing that nothing can hold you back without your permission. and you will never give that permission again. So let them doubt you. Let the odds stack against you. Let the doors stay closed. You weren't built to knock. You were built to kick them down. You were built to walk through fire, to rise through storms, to transcend every limit placed upon you. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, and has the power to stop a soul on fire. And that fire lives in you. Don't hide it. Don't tame it. Don't wait for the perfect moment to unleash it. This is the moment, and you are ready. Act like nothing stops you, because when you do, nothing will. You weren't sent here to be cautious. You weren't placed on this earth to tiptoe, to apologize, to shrink every time someone raised an eyebrow. You were born with a mind powerful enough to rewrite your reality, a spirit strong enough to withstand any storm, and a heart forged for war that beats with purpose. But somewhere along the way, the world taught you fear, taught you to be careful, taught you to wait, taught you to sit down and only rise when called upon. But here's the truth. The ones who change the world are not the ones who wait to be called. They're the ones who call themselves. And if you're going to act like nothing stops you, then you must learn to rewire your entire mindset. Because mindset is not positive thinking. It's not just saying the right affirmations. It's not reciting mantras while hiding from your truth. Mindset is identity in motion. It is who you choose to be in the face of resistance. It is the story you write about yourself every single day. And the story you write becomes the future you live. So if you want to be unstoppable, you better be ruthless about the story you're telling. You can't carry around doubt and expect destiny to embrace you. You can't speak the language of fear and expect the vibration of abundance. You have to become fluent in faith, the kind of faith that doesn't flinch, the kind of belief that doesn't ask for a second opinion, the kind of certainty that makes people uncomfortable, and because deep down they wish they had it too. You must see yourself as a weapon, not to harm, but to cut through illusion, to slice away the narrative that says you're too late, too old, too inexperienced, too much, not enough. You are not here to fit in. You are here to break the mold. Look at the most unstoppable people in history. They weren't the ones who played by the rules, they rewrote the rules. Steve Jobs wasn't interested in making a better phone. He reinvented how the world communicates. Oprah didn't wait for an invitation, she became the platform. Elon Musk didn't say, "I'll wait until it's safe." He built rockets when the world laughed at him. They didn't act based on where they were, they acted from where they were going. That's the secret. Your belief must be rooted in the vision, not the visible. In where you're headed, not where you stand, because where you stand now is just a snapshot. It is not your sentence. It is not your identity. It is simply the ground beneath your next step. You want to be unstoppable? Then walk like your future is already real, because when you act as if nothing stops you, your environment begins to conform to your mindset. Suddenly, the excuses dissolve. The distractions shrink. The path begins to unfold, and not because it wasn't there before, but because you weren't ready to see it. And now you are. Now your mind is a laser, cutting through fog, fear, and failure. Now your vision is magnetic, drawing in the people, the opportunities, the alignment. Now your energy is immovable, like a mountain built from purpose. But you must protect this mindset, because the world will still try to break it. They'll throw shade at your shine. They'll challenge your certainty. They'll offer you comfort in exchange for your crown. Don't take it. Don't trade your fire for their approval. Don't dim your light to make them feel less blind, because the moment you start watering down your belief, you start building a life that isn't yours. And a life that isn't yours will never satisfy your soul. So instead, double down. Double down on the mindset that says, I may not be there yet, but I move like I already am. I may not have the applause, but I act like I already won. I may be doubted, rejected, misunderstood, but I will not bend. Because unstoppable isn't about being fearless, It's about being committed through fear. And when you are that committed, the world starts to move. It can't help but move. Doors open, connections appear, time bends, because the universe does not respond to hesitation. It responds to certainty. It responds to clarity. It responds to motion. That's why acting as if nothing stops you is not just philosophy, it's physics. Motion creates momentum. Momentum creates belief, and belief creates reality. So move, even when you're scared, even when you're tired, even when no one claps. Move like you're being watched by your highest self, because you are. Move like the future is already here, because it is, waiting for you to match its frequency. And when your mind starts to scream, you can't, you silence it with one sentence. Watch me. Watch me rise. Watch me build. Watch me fall and come back stronger. Watch me walk through fire with purpose in my eyes and power in my steps. Watch me do what they said couldn't be done. Because I don't ask, can I? I ask, how far can I go before even I am surprised? And the answer? There is no limit. Not for the one who acts like nothing stops them. Not for the one who walks like they're already chosen. Not for the one who knows every great victory begins with one decision, and this is mine. If you want to live a life that defies the odds, you must stop acting like odds apply to you. Let others live by statistics. Let others fold to averages. But you are here to transcend expectation. You are here to walk with a vision so clear that no setback, no rejection, no silence can shake your certainty. Clarity is a weapon, not the kind that harm, but the kind that cuts away confusion. And when you have clarity of vision, you stop living in reaction mode. You stop chasing random opportunities. You stop trying to be everything to everyone. You become dangerously focused. You don't ask for directions anymore. You are the compass. You don't beg for approval anymore. You approve of your own steps. Clarity doesn't make the road easier. It just makes it irrelevant how hard it is, because now you know exactly where you're going. And that knowing is power. That knowing is what turns ordinary into extraordinary. But vision without action is hallucination, and belief without discipline is self-deception. If you truly want to act like nothing stops you, you must live like discipline is your closest ally. Discipline is the bridge between I want it and I have it. It's the space between your intention and your transformation. It is not sexy, it is not glamorous, but it is sacred, because every time you show up when no one claps, every time you commit and when no one watches, every time you execute, when nothing feels magical, you are proving to your soul, I am the kind of person who finishes what I start. You are building spiritual muscle, and no one can take that from you. Let them have the distractions. Let them chase dopamine. Let them feed their ego. You are here to feed your legacy, and legacy is not built in a moment of inspiration. It's built in thousands of moments no one will ever see. It's built at 5 a.m. when the world is still asleep. It's built on the days you feel average but choose to move like greatness anyway. It's built when the results aren't showing, but you trust the process more than the praise. That is what unstoppable looks like. Not loud, not flashy, not perfect, just relentless. Relentless in vision, relentless in execution, relentless in the belief that no matter what tries to slow you down, you will keep rising. Because when you operate like that, and when your discipline becomes divine, you tap into a realm most people never access. The realm where miracles become momentum, where effort becomes embodiment, where faith becomes fact. And this is where the shift happens. You stop seeing failure as a signal to stop and start seeing it as feedback to adapt. You stop seeing time as a limit and start seeing it as a tool to master. You stop fearing what's hard and start craving it. Because now you know the fire isn't there to burn you, It's there to forge you. That's how steel is made. That's how leaders are born. That's how legends are remembered. Through friction, through resistance, through the sacred pressure of purpose. So stop looking for the easy way. Easy will never lead you to destiny. Look for the necessary way, the way that sharpens your spirit, the way that humbles your ego, the way that turns chaos into character, and walk it like nothing stops you. Because when you do, you don't just inspire others, you liberate them. They see you move differently. They feel something unexplainable in your presence. And suddenly, they remember their own power. This is what it means to lead, not by telling others what's possible, but by embodying what's possible, not by quoting motivation, but by living it. Your vision is not just for you, it's a torch. And when you carry it boldly, you light a path that gives others permission to rise too. But make no mistake, there will be moments where no one sees the fire but you. There will be days when the vision feels invisible. There will be seasons where results are silent and doubts get loud. But if you keep walking, if you keep moving like nothing stops you, you will wake up one day and realize you became everything you once prayed for. And it won't feel like luck. It will feel like the most natural thing in the world. Because by then, you will know. This isn't just who you hope to become. This is who you were always meant to be. You will be tested not once, not twice, but over and over again by time, by failure, by silence, by betrayal, by fatigue. The journey will not ask you for your dreams. It will ask you for your soul. It will ask if you are willing to be the only one who believes when the lights are off, when the room is empty, when every echo sounds like give up. And that's where the separation happens. That's where most people fold. That's where most people sell their purpose for comfort. That's where most people trade their crown for acceptance. But not you, because you've made the decision to walk through fire without asking the flames to lower. You've made the choice to keep climbing even when the mountain grows steeper. You've decided that the pain of regret will always be worse than the pain of persistence. And that's what makes you dangerous, not because you're fearless, but because you don't flinch in the presence of fear. Not because life gets easier, but because you get bolder. You don't wait to feel ready. You act as if readiness is your default setting, because when you operate like that, life starts to bend. Reality begins to conform to your conviction. Obstacles no longer intimidate you, they fuel you. Delays no longer frustrate you, they sharpen you. Loss no longer defines you, it deepens you. You are no longer stopped by what breaks others. You are elevated by it. That's what happens when you understand the truth. Life doesn't punish the brave, it builds them. So let the winds howl, let the critics scream, let the uncertainty creep in. You've trained for this. You've chosen this. You've built your foundation not on applause, but on unshakable intent. You are not here to visit greatness. You are here to live it, to breathe it, to carry it into every room you enter, to make it your baseline. Because when you act as if nothing stops you, you stop waiting for motivation and start moving with mission. You don't ask, will this be easy? You declare, I'll handle whatever comes. You don't ask, what if I fail? You affirm, then I will rise wiser. You don't ask, what will they think? You decide, they'll think what they want, I'll become who I must. And the truth is, it's not just about achieving something, it's about becoming someone who walks with the calm of a soul that knows that no matter what happens, they will not be broken because they've already decided who they are. That kind of power can't be taught. It must be forged in the heat of discipline, in the trenches of doubt, in the silence of effort, in the darkness before dawn. That's where you learn. Not to wait for permission, not to ask for certainty, but to move like the path will reveal itself under your feet. And it always does, because the future doesn't open for the hesitant. It opens for the ones who show up like it already belongs to them. Act as if the door is already unlocked and you will walk through it. Act as if the opportunity is already yours and you will rise to meet it. Act as if the world bends to your beliefs, and it will. Not because it's magic, but because you are. You are the magic, the fire, the force. So from this moment on, walk like you're sent, speak like you're chosen, move like you're already living the life others are still dreaming about. You will not shrink, you will not stall, you will not give your power away. Not again, because the old version of you and the one who doubted, delayed, hesitated, apologized, that version is done, buried. What rises now is a force of nature. What rises now is a soul too aligned to be stopped by circumstance. What rises now is you, but not the version shaped by fear, the version shaped by fire. And that fire, it will never die again. You'll protect it with every boundary you set, with every hour you invest, with every standard you refuse to lower, with every yes you give to your vision, and every no you give to distraction. This is your identity now. Not a mask, not a phase, not a fleeting moment of motivation, but a way of being, a rhythm, a pulse, a code written in your bones. You are the one who moves mountains, who doesn't knock, but builds doors, who doesn't wait, but walks forward as if destiny is following you, because it is. And no matter how loud the chaos gets, you will always return to this truth. Nothing can stop the soul that has decided to rise. So rise every day, in every moment, with every step. Act as if nothing stops you, because nothing can. You were born for this. Now walk like it. When you start acting as if nothing can stop you, something sacred happens within. You stop being addicted to delay. You stop being comforted by hesitation. You stop negotiating with your own greatness. You begin to demand more from yourself, not in punishment, but in reverence. You begin to move from the place where destiny is no longer a distant concept, but a living presence inside you. You stop waiting for things to line up. You become the one who lines them up. You stop waiting for motivation to arrive. You create momentum and let motivation catch up. You stop looking around for proof and instead become the proof. And once you start living from that space, you begin to notice something strange. The world gets quieter. The voices of doubt fade. The opinions of others lose their power. The chaos around you stops controlling what's within you. Why? Because you're no longer reacting to life, you're leading it. And leadership is not a title. It's not a position. It's not something handed to you. Leadership is a way of being. It's the way you command yourself when no one's watching. It's the way you stay centered when everything shakes. It's the way you refuse to betray your future just to blend into your present. You don't lead by being perfect. You lead by being anchored in values, anchored in standards, anchored in purpose. So ask yourself, what are you anchored to? Are you anchored to people-pleasing, to old wounds, to fear that was never yours to carry? Or are you anchored to something deeper, something higher, something that cannot be shaken by outcomes? Because when you're anchored to truth, not even the storm can move you. When you're rooted in purpose, not even failure can define you. And when you're connected to the vision, not even time can make you give up. That's what it means to act like nothing stops you. Not that you never feel resistance, but that you remember who you are in the middle of it. You remember that courage is a decision, not a feeling. You remember that greatness is a commitment, not a mood. You remember that strength is built, not born, and if you fall, you rise louder. If they laugh, you build in silence until they ask how you did it. If they leave, you learn to walk alone until you meet those who match your fire. This is the path of the unstoppable. It is not for the faint-hearted. It is not for those looking for shortcuts. It is not for those who crave applause more than impact. It is for the architects of reality, the ones who see through the noise, the ones who do not flinch at rejection, the ones who breathe in difficulty like oxygen because they know it will forge them. And if that's you, then you already know the next step. Not to pause, not to wait, not to explain, but to move boldly, decisively, faithfully, because faith is action, faith is movement, faith is walking as if the staircase is already built, even when all you can see is fog. Faith is showing up like you're already chosen because you are. You wouldn't feel this fire if it wasn't yours to carry. You wouldn't hear this call if it wasn't your soul remembering what it came here to do. So rise, not for status, not for validation, but because it's time. Time to become undeniable. Time to step into the fullness of what's been waiting for you. Time to stop dipping your toes in the river and dive all the way in. Because this world does not need more people playing small. It needs more warriors of light. It needs more people like you who have the audacity to act as if nothing stops them. Because when you do, you give the rest of us permission to do the same. There is a moment in every life when you stop asking for proof and start becoming the evidence. A moment when you realize the waiting is over. The old you has expired. The excuses can't survive here anymore. You step into the silence and say, it's time. Time to reclaim what you gave away. Time to walk like your presence matters. Time to act as if the fire inside you was never meant to stay dormant, because it wasn't. You weren't made for the background. You weren't made to watch. You weren't made to rehearse your dreams forever. You were made to ignite them, to be the spark in a world full of ash, to be the storm in a world addicted to silence, to be the light that reminds others it's safe to shine again. But that light can't be conditional. It can't wait until everything makes sense. It can't depend on whether the world understands you. It must become your nature. You rise not because it's easy. You rise because it's who you are now. You move not because there's a guarantee. You move because your purpose can't breathe inside of hesitation. You speak not because you're sure they'll listen. You speak because your soul refuses to stay silent. And that's when the shift becomes permanent. When power is no longer something you borrow, it's something you embody. You no longer look for signs. You become one. You no longer chase energy. You generate it. You no longer hope for transformation. You are the transformation, not later, not someday. Now, because when you act as if nothing stops you, you collapse time. You dissolve the gap between who I want to be and who I am. You realize there was never any gap, only a decision. And you made it. You chose the hard path, the narrow road, the invisible staircase, the uncomfortable truth. You chose to believe when belief was expensive, to act when doubt felt loud, to stand tall when everything in you wanted to fold. And that choice, that's what separates the remembered from the forgotten, the few who rise from the many who retreat, because at the end of it all, when the noise fades, when the applause dies down, when the dust settles, it will not be your titles that echo, not your trophies, not your achievements. It will be your energy, the way you made people feel, the permission you gave others to rise, the impact you carved into eternity with who you became. So become it fully, fearlessly, unapologetically. Walk like the giants who came before you. Speak like the legends who never backed down. Live like the divine force within you was meant to move mountains. Because it was. You were never meant to survive. You were meant to lead. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to blaze trails. You were never meant to shrink. You were meant to expand. So expand in power, in light, in purpose. Every breath, every step, every second, let it scream, nothing stops me. Let the storms come. You've become the thunder. Let the delays stretch. You've mastered patience. Let the critics shout. Your silence speaks louder. And when they ask how, when they wonder where your strength comes from, look them in the eye and say, I stopped waiting. I decided. I became. I acted as if nothing could stop me, and now nothing does.